Is there anything better than when you work somewhere for a hot minute and the owner of that place says, I need a manager really badly, and you think you're a shoo-in for the role because you know what's happening in the business and you've essentially been doing it already? But instead of you taking on that pay raise, all of a sudden you come in one day and you are now under the control of some dude named Brian. Well, I met my Brian in the summers of college while I worked at a sub place. To describe Brian in a few words, I'd say he was the background character of a Stephen King novel. And by that I mean he was 5'10", had short, patchy buzz cut of ginger hair, and glasses that were more like goggles. And every day, at one point, he'd remind us that he was in the US military, and every night we would have to remind him that he dropped out of basic training due to stress fractures. Oh, how I enjoyed the tales in between chopping onions about how he would sneak into the mean streets of New Hampshire and get into fights with drug dealers. With not a single bruise on his body, he'd explain how he was throwing people across the room in order to show them who's who. Why? Because those people couldn't call the police on him. And with all those fun details about Brian, I'd have to say my most favorite part about him was his fiancée. She would come in, set up shop at one of our tables, spread out all her college work, and she'd call over to him while he was working and go, "Nyaa, Brian?" To which our brave manager would respond, "Yes, kitten?" And they'd walk over to each other and rub their little foreheads together. I'm not joking. And the pièce de résistance of this love story is that they looked identical. I mean clones. Miss Brian looked the same as Mr. Brian, but with long black hair. The same glasses, the same face, the same body. All of that's to say, Brian did not last long at the sub place. And if you're looking for a new manager for your establishment, my God, just promote somebody else.